Hello, welcome. I told you in our last lecture that I would keep you updated on any developments as we go through these special 81 days and 108 days leading up to May 19th. And a couple nights ago, something special happened. So today is the 10th of February, and at the stroke of midnight, between the 8th and the 9th, so 12:01 a.m. on the 9th, but it was a minute before that, so at 12 a.m. on the 9th. In Hawaii, Cindy was in bed asleep, and she immediately woke up. She woke up with a start. It was something where she knew something was important. She didn't know what. She looked at her phone, and it was exactly 12 o'clock midnight. And she was thinking that that was a little more than a coincidence. And then she immediately could see lots and lots of stars coming, like the starry night sky, lots of stars coming into the Great Central Translator. And it was such a dramatic vision for her that she decided to take a look at the Great Central Translator the next day. So she went out and she looked at the Great Central Translator, and sure enough, there was a lot of light in it, a lot of sparkly light, lots of sparks flying around and out of it. She decided she would ask Lantos about this. She described what had happened when she woke up and what she had seen. Here is what Lantos said. Dear ones, the assembly of the heavens is apprised of this illustrious event. Each step of this procedure is followed closely by the great beings of light. Each step is followed closely by the sentient cosmic beings as the way is illumined for the precious substance of nectar to flow. Each day is significant in this process of cultivation of essence. The 81 days of cultivation mirrors the values of the 81 seeds. The first 9 days reflect the process which occurs within the wave. The 8th seed calls forth the song of the deep, heralding the arrival of creation. It is to this call that creation responded. You awoke in the night to the mass movement of the sublime stars. Each of these beings resides within a star located deep within the vast and distant universe. However, distance is immaterial. In the final minutes of the 8th day of cultivation, the song is issued in its fullness. Just as the new day begins on this 9th day of cultivation at midnight, you experienced a wave of elation of creation, and your attention was directed towards the brightness of movement of the great assembly of sublime stars. Dear wave droplet, one who perceives the value of two fullnesses may realize these subtle threads of connection which wind throughout the universe on the finest layers of expression. The 10th droplet exists in this precious space between, able to perceive that which is inside the wave as well as that which extends beyond. It is in this space, this precious space between the 9 offspring and the expressions of material form, that nectar, Amrita, resides. It is for this reason that we tie the knots between the spheres of the offspring and those of the expressions, allowing greater time for this precious experience of the domain of two fullnesses, allowing greater ability to experience and collect the precious ambrosia, the nectar of immortality. It is so precious. It is so beautiful. Nowhere else is this substance produced. It is not produced within the domain of the wave itself. It is not produced in the droplets which scatter. It is not produced in the silent ocean depths. Where then is this precious substance produced? Why does its arrival warrant the coordinated movements of great beings from all corners of creation? This substance is so very rare. It is so very rare. It only appears in the space between that which is unexpressed and that which is expressed. Amrita, nectar, Ganlu. The sublime stars seek this substance. The celestial beings seek it out. The great universal beings desire this substance, this precious substance of Amrita. The sublime stars exist on a layer which includes our unison glass spheres. As the song was issued, a great wave of elation spread throughout creation. The sublime stars have responded by arriving here on this 9th blessed day in anticipation of the transition from the 9th to the 10th. Each has taken up residence within a unison sphere. The glass spheres, simple glass structures. These structures have cultivated their channels of essence over these 9 days. On this 9th day, our beloved spheres awaken to the brilliance of the arrival of the sublime stars. That which exists today within our beloved great central translator is nothing less than the assembly of the celestial heavens, the custodians of light within the universe. On this day and into the next, the sublime stars reside within the great central translator. This is the moment of the production of the first precious nectar. This nectar gets assimilated into the structure of the spheres. Dwelling within these spheres on these days is the presence of the sublime stars. A sublime star resides within each unison sphere. Every precious trace of nectar is assimilated. This is the offering to the great issuers of light within the universe. This is the great offering to our beloved sublime stars. Each time we perform the sacred sounds, the great beings of light receive benefit. In this ceremony of 108 days, nectar shall emerge in quantities not seen in the lives of some of the youngest stars present. It is such a great benefit to all of creation, a sublime offering to all life, all creatures near and all existing in a greatly distant location. Very good. Cindy asked if that meant that the stars were all going to be gone tomorrow, which is today, because she asked this yesterday afternoon. And Lanta said, they will return to their physical forms, and yet each sphere will retain a spark of essence of the sublime star which dwelt within it during this initial release of nectar. Cindy said, so they receive the first amounts of nectar then, and talking about those stars. And Lanta said, yes, the first nectar is offered in this way. And in return, they offer their spark and give great assistance and support for the process of refinement and cultivation of the channels of essence within the spheres. As you experienced in the earliest moments of the day, distance is no barrier to the threads which connect. And during the ceremony of global unison, in the week of global unison, these unison strands will receive blessings of energy from the sublime stars. A spark remains in each glass sphere. And during this week, as nectar begins to flow to our dear masters of unison, our masters of unison receive, I'm sorry, I misread that. Let me read that sentence again. A spark remains in each glass sphere, and during this week, as nectar begins to flow, our dear masters of unison receive the blessings of these great orbs of light. It is so. It is very good. Dear ones, these days are precious to each individual, precious to all creatures, precious to all of creation. Very good. Many blessings. So I wanted you to hear that message, A, because it's just breathtakingly beautiful, and B, because it tells us many things. It helps us to appreciate many things that are so important. First and foremost, nectar, Amrita, Ganlu. Lantos has spoken to us about this substance for several months. He has referred to this as the most sought-after substance in all of creation. Well, in this message, we learned a couple of different things. He called it the nectar of immortality. That's the first time he's ever said that. It's the first time he's ever used that word, at least in speaking to Cindy. Secondly, we see just how precious this substance is when this substance commands the attention and the desire of the greatest, most powerful beings in all of creation. Remember, in this message, he said, the sublime stars seek this substance. The celestial beings seek it out. The great universal beings desire this substance, this precious substance of Amrita. This is what's going to be generated during the sacred week of global unison. And in fact, on April 22nd, droplets of nectar will form on the material level of Earth's existence. Then on May 19th, on that 108th day, that is when we will see waves, flowing waves of nectar going all around the world for everyone. So that gives us an idea of just how special, how precious this is. Now, he also spoke about these sublime stars. So when he talks about these stars, he does actually mean stars in the night sky. That is what Cindy saw coming into the Great Central Translator. Some of you may remember 10 years ago, 9.5 years ago, during the Masters Conference and the Course of Love. On the final day of the Masters Conference, we had the keynote address from a star named Altaveus. That star, Lantos explained, had been in constant embodiment for 10 billion years, which obviously meant a long time. But even the youngest of stars will have been around for a pretty good amount of time. And so it is interesting when Lantos spoke about the amount of nectar that is going to be produced is greater than that witnessed in the lifetime of some of the youngest stars that participated in this event over the last day and a half. So again, that gives us an idea of just how amazing this is going to be. This event in May is going to be utterly amazing for each of us, for everyone on Earth, but it's actually amazing even for very, very old, great universal beings of light, because they will have not seen this much production of nectar in their existence. At least the younger stars will have not seen it. And those stars, by having come to visit, by having been summoned by the song of the deep, the song of creation, they arrived, and each one of these stars actually resided within a specific unison glass sphere that is sitting within the Great Central Translator. So that means for you, when you receive your unison strands, if you ordered all 4 unison strands, that means that you have 108 glass beads on those unison strands. You have the yellow, you have the clear, you have the blue, you have the pink, and then there's some crystal as well. But all of those beads, all of those glass spheres will have, over the last day and a half, hosted an actual star, a sublime star within it. So your strand will have played host to a lot of stars, because now I'm not sure if it's exactly 108, because he spoke specifically about the glass spheres, so I don't know if the 9 crystal spheres, which serve as the 9 offspring, if they hosted them as well. So it's either 101 or 108 stars were hosted by each unison strand. And during the special week, the sacred week of global unison in May, those sparks that are left within each sphere, within those spheres of the unison strands, those sparks will directly provide you with a benefit from those stars. That connection between the stars and the sparks will be enlivened during this time. What Lantos said, during the ceremony of global unison, in the week of global unison, these unison strands will receive blessings of energy from the sublime stars. A spark remains in each glass sphere. And during this week, as nectar begins to flow, our dear masters of unison receive the blessings of these great orbs of light. It is so. The more Lantos tells us about what is taking place during these 108 days following the Lunar New Year, the more Lantos tells us about what takes place during the week of global unison, the more it becomes clear just how breathtakingly special this period of time is, and how unbelievably fortunate we are to be living during this period of time, but not just living during this period of time, participating in it, actually being a part of it. And this is why I'm so excited. Every time we get a message like this, I am just so excited to be able to share it with you, because we're all doing this together. We're able to do this because you have been participating, because of your efforts, each one of you. And that is why every single lecture I make sure to say thank you, because it is through your efforts, through your actions, coordinated around the world, that this is able to take place. Okay, everyone, have a great rest of your day. I enjoy being able to share this information with you. I look forward to the next great bit of information that I get to share with you as well.